Hello everyone, welcome back. So we're doing the Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. It's taken me a long time to get to this, but let's go straight into it. I'm going to start with the powdered shades using my finger. Those are the first four shades. So that's Crush, Smitten, Dreamy and Allure. I don't know if I'm in focus, but that's without a primer. And then I'm going to do the same with the primer side. That's the next four shades. So we have Desire, Adorn, Lovesick and Bliss. This is with the primer. Can you see that? It looks quite patchy initially, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can blend them in a bit, just so I've got more accurate swatches. Doesn't look the greatest at the moment. Then you've got Evermore and you've got EXO. That's Evermore. Then you've got EXO, which look quite similar there. I think there's a slight difference in undertone. Let's see if you can see that. Can you see that? So I don't know. My first four swatches came out really good, and then from there on, they just don't look the greatest. I can go back and make them look better, but then I don't think that's me being honest. So I don't know how I feel about those swatches. But I'm going to wash my hand now and then do it again with a brush. Just a side note, just use this primer to do my swatches on one side of my arm, and it's really good, like very difficult to get it off. Let's start off with Crush. Did you see the kickback? It's got quite a bit of kickback. So I don't know if you'll be able to see the swatch on my hand just because it is a really light shade, but that's that on there. And that's on this side. Yeah, because it's so light, I don't think you can really see it. Then we've got Smitten here. You got a lot of kickback with each shade so far. Yeah, these are really not showing up on my skin tone. All showed up a lot better on the primer side. Can you see that? Just don't know if you can see it, but it showed up a lot more with the primer. And then you got Dreamy. This is Dreamy without the primer. Okay, the first shade that shows up on my skin tone is Dreamy, which is nice. There's a huge difference between the primer and non-primer side as well. So you got Allure. I'm not blown away by this at the moment. Yeah, Sense performs so much better with the primer. So you've got Desire next. And you can see I'm going in quite a few times to get the pigment build up. Like that you can really see there, can't you? Oopsie. See some of the old shade as well there. Let me try swatching that again. Okay. Then this is Adorn. Yeah, again, primer side, it's having a lot of difficulties picking anything up. But I'm sure this will perform really nicely on the non-primer side. Yeah, like that. I don't even have to go in near as much. It just performs so much better. Then you've got Lovesick. Like, I don't know if you can all see it. Like, let me zoom it in. Like that. The kickback is just crazy. It's one of those shades that one of those palettes that you 100% need a primer for it to pick up on anything. Like if I try. Look at this, guys. So I'm gonna clean my brush first, 1 second. So I'm gonna go into Bliss. Can you see that kickback? Okay, that's Bliss on the non-primer side. And that's Bliss with the primer. Very nice again. Like, it didn't swatch nicely using the finger, but the swatch, using a primer and a brush does look really good. So yeah, that's not bad without a primer. It is still a bit patchy, but with a primer, no problem. Not an issue whatsoever. And then you got EXO. So the first shade starts here, just because it's so light on my skin tone. I put my finger there. So that's where the shade starts from. And that's the rest of them. That's primer side and non-primer side. I'll be coming back and doing the pomade shades now, so bear with me. Oh, that texture feels squidgy. Okay, not sure if I've got enough on my finger, but let's start. Oh, I can see it a lot more, but I don't know if that's going to translate on camera. Oh, what I've done. You see that? I got carried away. Okay, so just be very careful. I don't know if I can fix that. Okay, it's fine. The texture's just so strange. I just got a bit carried away, so be very careful now, I don't do that again. So this is Smitten. This is Dreamy. I'm really struggling to get this on camera, but I'll bring you in, maybe that'd be easier. I just really struggling to pick the shades up. Anyway, let's move on to Desire, Allure, and Lovesick. So the next three shades: Desire, Allure, Lovesick. I don't know, guys, I'm a bit underwhelmed. Bliss, Evermore, XOXO. You see those? I don't know how I feel about that, guys. I don't know how we feel. So we're gonna go in with Smitten, Dreamy. It's not how much I'm trying, I just can't get the product to pick up on my finger. So maybe you're not meant to use your fingers, which is a bit of a shame because I use my fingers for a lot of makeup products. So this is Smitten, Dreamy, Allure. That's not bad, is it? Showed up a lot more than the other without the primer side. Like this shade here, which is Allure, Adorn. Adorn, that swatches really nicely. Like that just swatches really nicely. Lovesick swatches nicely as well, but I don't know if there's something wrong with my top view. Guys, I'm so disappointed with this. Like swatches are not coming on like anyone else side. You know how I've seen them on YouTube? I'm not getting the same results. Why is that? What am I doing wrong? Like Evermore, that goes on so nicely, and the EXO, that goes on nicely as well, but some of my shades, they're not performing really great. I feel like I'm tugging on my skin. Done. So I'm going to try to use my finger because I don't have the greatest look with the brush, but now I can't blend it out, so it looks a bit messy, but we'll see how we get on. That's Adorn all over my lid, focusing on my ear but not my eye. No, it's not focusing at all. I like the matte shades in this palette. I feel like they're really easy to work with. I struggle with the pomades a lot. So I'm going to try to do a look with some pomade. I'm going in with Crush, the powder shade. I'm just going to try to blend out the edges. So I don't want it to look too harsh. Going in with Evermore all over my lid. Can you see that I've got a decent amount on my finger, but for some reason it doesn't translate well onto my lids. Just gonna go in one more time and then we'll work with whatever we've got on there. So now I'm gonna go in with Adorn, but I'm going in with the powdered shade, just to blend out Evermore. Now the powders are very easy to use. Going in with Lovesick with a pencil brush, I'm going to run that through my bottom lash line. This is my original recording as well, so I deleted everything I had before just because there was no way I could edit it to look even half decent. The looks just were coming out so terrible. So this is after a lot of trial and error that I'm doing these looks now, especially because I've put this palette in my Panda palette where I'm not trying to pan all the shades, but I would like to use a significant amount because I did really have high expectations from this palette. I'm going to put EXO just on the outer. I'm going to tie line with my lash line with the XO as well. Doing this without a mirror is very hard because I'm only using the camera's viewfinder. So let's try. And then whenever I use this palette, I feel like the look's incomplete without the shade Desire. I was trying not to use it, but I'm just going to put Desire in my crease. I'm going to finish the look off and then I'll be back. I'm going to try not to use Evermore and XO. I'm going to try to do something with the gradient dark to light here, using the pomades. So we start off with Bliss. I really struggle. My lights are flickering. That's Bliss, but look how hard it is for me to... I don't know, it just takes a lot of effort to get anything out. All I'm going to do is swipe or tap whatever I can to get a bit of colour. So that kind of worked. So I pressed it on and then kind of like wiggled. It's not as vibrant as I would like it. Okay, then I'm going to go in with Adore. Adore's a lot easier. There's definitely inconsistencies with the formulation types. Now look how much easier that was. And then I've used a lot of Desire, so I'm going to miss Desire, go in with Allure. And I'm having the same issue again with Allure. The same issue, it just feels so difficult to pick up any product. It's not that I'm not trying. Okay, maybe that shade is too light. Try Dreamy. So Dreamy and Allure are too light, and then I've only got Adorn, Lovesick and Bliss, but Bliss wasn't really showing up. The only shade that showed up out of those 6 was Adorn, which really does limit you. But anyway, we're going to work with what we've got. Picking up Adorn, the pomade side, because we're going to really try to use these pomades as much as we can. Just going to use that to blend everything out into my crease. I'm going to go in with Crush in the inner corner. Honestly, I'm not having, it's just, this palette is so difficult to work with. I know I'm going to have to go in with a powdered shade at some point. Just wanted to avoid it for as long as I could, but we're going in with Adorn, the powdered shade. Guys, this is the hardest palette I've ever used. Now, if I want to do the look I just did previously, it's quite, I'm not gonna lie, that is quite easy to do, but all the looks I do will be exactly the same. If I want to try anything different, it's just so difficult. I can do that look with any other palette. I can do it with so much ease within a few minutes. So using the pomade shade, I'm using Crush on the inner corner. This palette gives me so much anxiety. But the thing is that I was so excited for this palette and it's not worked out. It's not worked out. Now can you see that I've got a little dot there and a little dot there. No matter what I'm doing to blend it out, it's just not working. But so I'm using Lovesick just to line the outer edge now, and I'm using the pomade shade again. Okay, it's not working. I'm just gonna call it a day. I'm just doing my mascara and that's it. So this is the second look. I had to go in with a wing, otherwise all the looks will just look the same. And I did set my pomade with the white powder, the lightest powder, just so that it popped a little bit more. I'm just going to finish off this video with the wear test. This is 10 hours after I'm wearing the palette. I have the same issue that I do if I use these as a blush. It just disappears on me. I don't know why. I've tried setting it with translucent powder, using different types of primers, but I have the same result no matter what. That's everything for now. Please like, subscribe and leave a comment below. Bye.